Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video and welcome back to another WWE 2K GM mode. Today we begin a brand new series. This is episode 1 of my GM mode on Monday Night Raw. And I know what you're thinking right now. Wait a minute, didn't you just end the AEW GM mode like a week ago with season 1 and didn't you get fired? Yes, suck on that, Tony Khan. I told you I had many more job offers and now I'm here back in the big time. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. I am right back where I belong on Monday Night Raw, where it all began for me when it comes to any GM mode type series on my channel, Universe GM mode 2018, get to know. But something I've been saying on this channel for a very long time now is that I was always going to go back and finish Universe GM mode, and this is kind of the rendition of finishing that series. Except it's going to be half Universe GM mode canon timeline and half a brand new series in Raw GM mode, so it's going to be kind of a mix, but I will explain myself in just a moment. And so if you are a fan of the AEW GM mode, you will be happy to know that this will be working very similarly to that series, because coming back for another season of a GM mode series, we've got the ratings goals coming back. Of course, we've got 250 views for plus $20,000 onto our budget, 500 views for plus $40,000, and so on and so forth. And of course, you will also know that we can get extra money from the like ratings of every episode. So for example, we got like plus $55,000 for 200 likes, or like plus $45,000 for 150 likes, and so on. And so like I said at the start of the AEW GM mode, if you want a better show, then it's up to you to share the video around, because the higher the ratings I get, then the more money I get and the more people I can sign. Now here's where things get really interesting. So the last time I made a Universe GM mode episode, we were at the Superstar Shakeup just after WrestleMania, and in this timeline at the beginning of this series there has been a 3-month time skip, and so where we are in the year right now and where we are in the timeline is the night after SummerSlam. And as is the case all the time when it comes to Monday Night Raw, ratings are declining, and so Vince has decided, you know what, we're going to do another roster reset draft and completely start things again, or somewhat starting things again. You'll see what I mean in a moment, but either way, Vince has decided, you know what, we're bringing back another on-screen GM, and he could have chose a better choice if I do say so myself, you know what I mean? And so if you were a fan of the Universe GM mode, then you will already know who the current champions are at the start of this series, but to go over it, if you haven't seen that series, the World Champion is Tommaso Ciampa, the Women's Champion is Becky Lynch, the man, and the Intercontinental Champion is Ricochet, which, my god, that says a lot because his stock has dropped drastically since I last did an episode. Additionally, it's also worth adding that the United States title is over on SmackDown, the Women's Tag Team titles, the Men's Tag Team Championships, the 24/7 title have all been vacated and are now only available to return if I buy them back. And speaking of championships and title reigns, Pete Dunne's United Kingdom Championship reign came to an end last night at SummerSlam at around over 800 days or so. He lost the title to Finn Balor, who has now taken the title back to NXT, and also as far as the Women's IC Championship goes, I've just decided to retire the belt. It was a fun idea when I first did the Universe GM mode series. It was fun to have Shayna Baszler as the champion, and I had some ideas that I was going to go forward with her as the champion, but I decided I just don't want too many titles crowding up my show. It makes booking a lot harder to have too many titles, so the title for the women in the IC division has been retired. Now Vince McMahon has blessed me nicely because the initial budget for this Raw GM mode is $400,000. It's a little higher than the AEW's initial budget due to the fact that there's just more superstars over here of a higher profile, so it makes sense that they'd be higher priced and that I would get more money to begin the series. Now, as I briefly mentioned a moment ago, when it comes to the Universe GM mode timeline and everything, the canon is still somewhat in effect in this universe. Like, it's still the same Universe GM mode universe, and the events that took place in that series still have an effect in this one. But it's kind of a revival of the series. It's going to run a lot smoother and a lot better than it did before. It's a soft reset, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you are new and haven't ever watched an episode of Universe GM mode and have no idea about Randy Orton's career ending at Mania, Bobby Lashley winning the Royal Rumble, or the time a black referee screwed over Texas Team Dream, then sit back, relax, and enjoy this recap of Universe GM mode season 1 and 2 in 4 minutes or less. And alternatively, if you don't really care about the canon timeline of the Universe GM mode series, or you already know it already because you're just a freaking OG, then go to this timestamp and it'll skip the whole recap so you don't have to sit through it. But if you haven't seen it before, then without more further ado, enjoy this recap. Universe GM mode began in WWE 2K19 with a WWE draft and me as the Raw general manager. After a few rounds in the randomly selected draft lottery, we had drafted the likes of John Cena, Braun Strowman, Pete Dunne, Paige, The New Day, Charlotte Flair, and more, and it was time to begin the booking for season 1. Naturally, my first order of business as the Raw GM was getting rid of the Doo-Doo Universal Championship and bringing back the greatest of all time, Big Gold, the World Heavyweight title, with a tournament that would conclude at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. The first round of matches saw Drew McIntyre beat Rey Mysterio after an Andrade Cien Almas distraction, planting the seeds for their inevitable rivalry. The second match of episode 1 saw Braun Strowman choking the life out of Dolph Ziggler in quick fashion to advance, and this would be the genesis of a new Dolph Ziggler who, in the following weeks and months heading into Mania, would appear as various legends from the past like Stone Cold, Undertaker, and HBK, and despite this weird trend from the show off, he ended up having a killer Royal Rumble match eliminating almost 10 men. And even though his actions at the time confused many, his explanation later on for his actions was that the WWE Universe loved lapping up these legendary returns rather than showing appreciation for current day talent. And to be honest, was he wrong? Did he stutter? But now that the show off had returned to who he once was, Vicky Guerrero was once again by his side as we headed into a WrestleMania Money in the Bank ladder match. But more on that later. Another thing that happened in season 1 was the rise of the Velveteen Dream, seeing him become IC champion and have a heated feud against Seth Rollins, have a weird conspiracy episode with a black referee screwing him over, and even beating The Rock at WrestleMania. But considering the Texas Team Dream is a nonce and likes to talk to underage kids, we're gonna Chris Benoit him from the Universe GMO timeline and record books. Listen, okay, it was a different time. We pushed him because we thought he was gonna hit it off with the fans, and well, in the end, he was trying to hit it off with the fans, just not in the way we thought. So rest in piss, bozo. Continuing on with the recap though, we also had something called the Future Endeavored vote back then, where essentially the worst performing superstars on my Raw would be put into a vote, and you guys could vote them off as we wished them the best in their future endeavors. Not a great impression, but anyway, this only ended up happening once in season 1 and 2, with Jason Jordan being released in season 1. I wasn't really wild about this concept, so I kind of scrapped it before the season 2 premiere. But now moving back to the world title tournament though, and after a grueling tournament, it was eventually won by Drew McIntyre after he beat Braun Strowman in a certified classic. But he didn't have long to celebrate his big win before a returning Brock Lesnar would make his presence known and F5 him through a table. Season 1 and 2 also saw a bunch of UK Championship Open challenges from Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, who had been UK champion for the better part of 2 years at this point, but no challenger had stepped up that was more infamous than the man who walks the left-hand path, Aleister Black. These two went to war on Raw backstage and in Philadelphia at the Royal Rumble, but in the end, the Bruiserweight would retain the title. However, this wouldn't be the last we saw of Aleister Black for the season, for he would return the night after the Elimination Chamber to silence the voices in a certain someone's head. But more on that later. Women's wrestling was certainly one of the highlights of the Universe GMO talent in season 1 and 2, with banger after banger from the return of Charlotte Flair to Kairi Sane becoming the inaugural Women's World Champion at the Royal Rumble and having that beautiful gold and white belt to add to her pirate treasury, to Becky Balboa showing up herself from SmackDown Live to challenge Kairi at the Elimination Chamber in a match that defined 5 stars and nothing less. And of course, who could forget in this timeline the first ever Women's WrestleMania main event between Kairi Sane, Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, as we witnessed the birth of WrestleMania in front of our very eyes. Kairi Sane would later be drafted to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup, but her impact and legacy left on the Raw landscape would never be forgotten. Speaking of women's wrestling, we're not done yet, because season 1 and 2 introduced the first ever Women's Intercontinental Championship, and after weeks of mysterious vignettes and one spot left open in the Elimination Chamber, Shayna arrived to dominate the field and leave as champion. And I guess I should briefly mention the tag division situation from season 1 and 2, which saw the Revival win the vacant titles at the Royal Rumble, but to be honest with you, I was not a fan of how I booked any tag team wrestling in the entire series. Like, I basically did nothing with any of them and then randomly brought back D-Generation X to have a decent match at Mania, and now the Revival have been released anyway, so I think it's best we just have a hard reset on the tag team wrestling division in this timeline and pretend this all never happened. Top guy out. But moving back to a more positive note, if you didn't see 1 and 2, you're probably wondering who the hell won the Royal Rumble. Well, after shocking returns and appearances from Demon Finn Balor, King Booker, Tyler Bate, who went on to have a banger of a match against Pete Dunne at Mania in a 50-minute classic for the UK title, Undertaker, Adam Cole and the Hurricane, perhaps the most shocking with his first emergence in the WWE in over a decade, the Dominator Bobby Lashley would return to win it all by last eliminating Randy Orton. And after some deliberation, he would choose Drew McIntyre to face at WrestleMania, who was involved in a heated and personal feud with Brock Lesnar at the time, leading into a triple threat match between these monsters. Who left Mania as champion, you ask? Would you believe me if I said none of the above? Because enter... One of my favorite booking decisions from season 1 and 2 was to bring back the WrestleMania Money in the Bank. There's something just so much more grandiose and special about it being on the show of shows, and so back it came. After some qualifiers on both shows, 4 from Raw and 4 from SmackDown battled it out to see who would be crowned Mr. Money in the Bank. Cena, Ziggler, Hardy, Owens, Ali, Kane, Zayn, but in the end only one man would reign. Tommaso Ciampa was his name, and Ciampa wasted no time becoming the first man in WrestleMania history to win the briefcase and cash it in on the same night, living a path of broken dreams, if you will, in his way. Speaking of broken dreams, the Darkness himself, Aleister Black, was tired of waiting for someone to pick a fight with him, so he picked a fight with a Viper. And after a grueling feud heading into Mania with a stipulation attached that Randy talked himself into by saying if he can't beat Aleister, then he has no career, Aleister had done it. A swift round of Black Masses and a match that we will never forget. The career of Randy Orton was over. Fade to black. As we wrap up this recap here, here's some other notable moments in Season 1 and 2 that are worth knowing about. Paige and Ruby Riott had one of the best non-title women's feuds ever, which concluded with Paige finally getting one over on the woman who had bullied her ever since she returned to Raw. Ricochet became men's IC champion in his own right by beating the Architect at WrestleMania. And we did have a very interesting superstar shakeup which planted the seeds for Aleister Black versus The Fiend, Pete Dunne against a mysterious masked attacker which was to be revealed as Finn Balor, Sasha Banks' arrival on Monday Night Raw, the rise of Mustache Mountain, and the start of an Andrade Rollins feud, but all the results of the superstar shakeup are null and void pretty much, considering this series acts as somewhat of a soft reset on the timeline, so you can just ignore. And oh my god, I almost forgot, easily the biggest appearance in Season 1 and 2, we got the musical stylings in the form of a beautiful national anthem performance at WrestleMania from someone you may just be familiar with. Absolutely fire, mate. Baby Rexha, eat your heart out. John Legend, eat your heart out. Nicole Scherzinger, eat your freaking heart out. I've never seen a more beautiful performance in my life. But anyway, now you know the history of the timeline and what you should acknowledge and what you shouldn't. So for the sake of not making this too confusing for new viewers, the rosters as mentioned for Raw, NXT, and SmackDown have been as closely reset as possible to the current day. And so, you know, if at some point in this series we take a look at the NXT roster for a trade, which I'll get onto in a second, it'll be like the NXT roster is today. The Bible roster for SmackDown will be as it is today, although the Raw roster will be a little bit more of a hybrid with the Universe GM mode timeline. And you will see some cameos from people that did play a huge role in Season 1 and 2 of Universe GM mode, so like some Universe GM mode alumni like Kairi Sane, who is still around because she was the inaugural Women's World Champion. You got Paige, who of course returned miraculously from her injury, which I'm still pulling for you, by the way, Paige. I really want to see you in the ring one more time. With that being said, I can't simply just go over to NXT and plug whoever I want. That would be no fun. Instead, everyone on NXT and SmackDown will also have prices and are only available through trades. So for example, if I have Drew McIntyre on my Raw roster worth $45,000, I must trade him for someone of the same or similar value, and I only get 3 trades a season. Now you're probably wondering, how much are people going to cost in the Bible Raw roster? Who am I going to spend my initial budget on? All that and more next time on Dragon Ball Z. So as you can see on your screen right now, here is the initial Bible Raw roster for this GM mode series. You got the likes of Asuka, AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Alexa Bliss, The Hurt Business. You got a whole bunch of people on this roster right now. Keith Lee, you got Kairi Sane, Miz and Morrison, Naomi, Pete Dunne, a bunch of people, okay? A bunch of people and championships. And also it's worth going over the releases for the start of this series. So the Revival have been released and they vacate the tag team titles. Andrade has been granted his release, of course, similar to real life. Velveteen Dream, he's a pedophile, so he's gone. The Women's IC Championship has been retired. Peyton Royce, unfortunately, will no longer be in this series due to recent events. And I'm sorry that this intro is so long. I promise every episode of the Raw GM mode won't have an intro this long. This is just kind of getting you into the series right now. But we are not done with the intro yet, because I am going to go ahead and use my first trade of the season right here, right now. And funnily enough, I'm getting rid of a Universe GM mode alumni in that bozo Braun Strowman, because I just don't like him, and I'm trading him to SmackDown in exchange for none other than Kevin Owens. And like I mentioned, by the way, similar value, similar price. Braun Strowman is worth $35,000 and Kevin Owens is worth $35,000. And I also actually, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, and really considering I only get 3 a season, I shouldn't use my second trade, but fuck it, we're doing it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I'll write it and we're doing it live. I'm using another trade for the season right now. We're sending Elias, Titus O'Neil, and Tucker to NXT in exchange for one man who, not to ruin the surprise, but you'll see him later on. And so without any more further ado, let's go ahead and go through who I spent my initial $400,000 budget on. I didn't spend all of it, but here we go. The first person who was just traded to Monday Night Raw, we bought $35,000, Kevin Owens. We then went ahead and spent $45,000 on Asuka, $45,000 on AJ Styles with Omos, $25,000 on Aleister Black, The Hurt Business for $45,000. That's a bit of a package deal. Bobby Lashley, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. Spent $45,000 to buy Drew McIntyre, a Universe GM mode legend right there. $45,000 on Charlotte Flair, $5,000 on Drew Gulak Black, 5,000 on Angel Garza, 5,000 on Lana, $35,000 on the Keith Lee, not the Keith Lee, I was gonna say the limitless Keith Lee, I missed a word, but yes, bask in his glory, he is here on Monday Night Raw again. And finally, the last few people we purchased here with the initial budget, $20,000 was spent on Elias, 5,000 on Tucker, and 5,000 on Titus O'Neil, but of course all three of those men were traded to NXT for someone of equal value, and like I said earlier, you'll see him later tonight. But our remaining budget to start off the season is at $80,000, and of course that will grow as the season gets views and gets ratings and everything, and yeah. And so there you go, we can take a deep breath now. The intro is done for the first episode of the Raw GM mode. I'm excited for you guys to see my first show. I'm excited to be back as the Raw General Manager. And yeah, without any more further ado, I present to you the first episode of my Monday Night Raw. Gentlemen, welcome back to Monday Night Raw, and welcome to episode 1 of the Raw GM mode, and I could not think of a better way than to kick things off with the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. And not only is this a welcoming back for me to Monday Night Raw, but it's also a welcoming back to a man that was just on SmackDown Live after the Superstar Shakeup many months ago. But after this roster reset draft, he is back where I believe he truly belongs. The roster where he made his name, where he became famous, where he became Drew McIntyre. And that is right here on Monday nights. Lest we forget what happened before Drew McIntyre was drafted to SmackDown in that Superstar Shakeup many months ago. It was at WrestleMania where Ciampa won Money in the Bank and cashed in on McIntyre. And you can guarantee that McIntyre has not forgot about that. Now that the roster reset, WWE draft has taken place and the smoke has cleared, it makes me happy to say that I am back on Monday Night Raw. For those of you that don't remember, allow me to take you back. It was 3 months ago on the night of the Superstar Shakeup when I got drafted to SmackDown, and for as much as I tried my best to settle in over there, something wasn't right. Something was a little off. Something was missing, and now I realize exactly what my problem was. I lost my World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania to a Tommaso Ciampa Money in the Bank cash-in, and I never got my rematch for the title. I never rightfully lost, and it's about time I handed that bald fraud a receipt. So Ciampa, get your ass out here right now. Let's end this once and for all. Oh my goodness, business has just picked up. McIntyre called out Ciampa, and now here comes the world's heavyweight champion, Tommaso Ciampa, here live on Monday Night Raw, and it looks like we're about to pick up exactly where we were after WrestleMania between these two, before the shakeup. As Tommaso Ciampa clutches Goldie closer than ever because he knows now that there is a pissed off Scottish psychopath looking to take back the title that he lost at WrestleMania. Well, welcome back, Drew. I know you haven't been around here in a while, but allow me to take you back. At WrestleMania, I won Money in the Bank and cashed it in on the same night. Only man in history to do it. And since that Superstar Shakeup you mentioned so dearly, I have dominated Raw as world champion. And most recently, last night at SummerSlam, the Blackheart finished off the Architect for good and sent his ass packing to SmackDown just like I did with you. Yeah, that's all real great, but all I'm hearing is a load of waffle, mate. The fact of the matter is I'm back and I want the championship rematch I deserve tonight. You know what, McIntyre? Fine. You got it. You got your rematch. Really? Just as easy as that. I ask and you give me my match after all of that? Something seems off about this. I know you, champ, but I know you would never just accept so easily. You definitely have something up your sleeve. Look, do you want the match or not? There's no strings attached. I just think you fail to realize how strong the bond is between me and my beloved Goldie 2.0, so it ain't gonna matter what you do. You're not winning this title here tonight. Oh, we'll see about that, champa. Everyone is real tough until they take a claymore to the face. I'll see your ass in the main event. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, he is the Intercontinental Champion, Ricochet. Now, Ricochet, it's surely no secret to you that there has been murmurs from the doubters about the credibility of your IC Championship reign, with only 5 defenses of the title since you won it at WrestleMania from Seth Rollins, and now an extra adage of the fact you didn't defend at SummerSlam. How are you feeling about this situation? Well, it makes me very disappointed in myself, to be honest with you, Renee. When I won this title, I wanted to be a champion that the kids aspired to be, a champion that the people could be proud of, but I just haven't been good enough, and so it's time for me to prove myself. So I'm gonna go out to the ring and throw down an open challenge and show exactly why. Whoa, now hang on a minute there, Rico. Don't waste your time with going out to the ring to throw down that open challenge of yours, because I accept. I'll face you tonight for the title, and then if you beat me, you'll have really proven yourself to be phenomenal, if you will. Oh, okay, I'll see you out there, but AJ, I'm not phenomenal. I'm simply the one and only. And AJ Styles here tonight, entering Worcester, Massachusetts to the musical silence of the late great DMX, a remix between Ain't No Sunshine and his phenomenal theme song. And I mean, long live the dog, but the question is for Ricochet's Intercontinental Championship reign, how much longer will that live here on Monday Night Raw? If AJ Styles has anything to say about it, not much longer. Because let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Styles is the man that ended Ricochet's United States Championship reign not too long ago on Monday Night Raw, and that feels like a lifetime ago now, but I mean, it did happen. Styles has beaten Ricochet before. Can he do it tonight, though, in this beginning of a new era for the Red Brand? We're about to find out. And now, here comes the Intercontinental Champion, the one and only Ricochet. Not get it twisted when it comes to Ricochet. Sure, he's only defended that title 5 times since winning it at WrestleMania from the architect Seth Rollins, but Ricochet is no doubt about it one of the very best professional wrestlers in the world, and quite frankly, a lot of you have been sleeping on him when it comes to that IC title reign. He may not have defended it much, but I guarantee Ricochet backs it up every single time you see him in that ring. He is a special talent to watch, and this one is going to be another classic, no doubt about it, from the one and only. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is what this one is all about, the Intercontinental Championship. On one side, from Gainesville, Georgia, weighing in at about 218 pounds, you got the phenomenal AJ Styles looking to cause a major upset to the IC title reign of Ricochet. And of course, on the opposing side of the ring, from Paducah, Kentucky, the one and only, weighing in about 190, the Intercontinental Champion, Ricochet. And now Ricochet taking perhaps one final look at the Intercontinental Championship reign for this reign of his. Will this be where it all comes crashing down, or can he outlast the phenomenal AJ Styles here on Monday Night Raw? This one is about to get underway. And now Styles is ready with Almost watching on, and Ricochet is ready as well. Here we go. And Styles wasting no time, by the way, straight off the bat right here, going after Ricochet with that flurry of strikes, the offensive innovation of AJ Styles. And now here we go. Wait a second, counter there, woo shot by Ricochet. And now Ricochet, hang on a second, look at this Northern Light suplex, as unique as ever from Ricochet. He's going into another maneuver right here. Oh my god, the spinning neck breaker as well. And look at the size, by the way, of this Almost on the outside of the ring right there. It is impressive as hell to watch him. I mean, the man has never even been in a wrestling match here on Monday Night Raw, but my god, just the size of him is as impressive as hell. And look at him being happy that AJ Styles is now back on the offensive in this match, as there's a discus clothesline. Oh yeah. And now wait a second, a counter by Ricochet. Ricochet looking to blaze a path as the Intercontinental Champion, like the late great Luke Harper did. And now here we go, tornado DDT knee by Styles. Ricochet is out to prove one thing, and that he is a great Intercontinental champion, that he is not a fraud, like a lot of the WWE Universe may have said, a lot of the critics have said. And now I'm going to take a look at this AJ Styles now with the elbows to the head of Ricochet right here. The elbows, the discus clothesline, countered by Ricochet though. Nicely done to the fireman's carry. And now Ricochet, what is Ricochet thinking here? With the Irish whip into the corner once again. Ricochet drop kick. Ricochet trying to prove the doubters wrong, and AJ Styles trying to prove that he is still phenomenal. The Intercontinental Championship is one of the only titles that Styles has yet to win on in his WWE career so far. And now Ricochet, as he goes to a cover right here, and AJ Styles is about to be it. No, a kick out by the phenomenal one. The Intercontinental Championship on the line, but as I was mentioning about AJ Styles a moment ago, he has yet to, oh my god, a cutter right there, caught him flush. And now Ricochet, hang on a second, forget whatever I was saying. Ricochet is looking to put this one away, looking for that 630 senton, but no, Styles moves out of the way. Styles gets out of dodge, and no, Ricochet right there. Oh, he had for Hurricane Rana, nicely countered there by Styles. Styles with the Pele kick. Styles caught Ricochet flush in the back of the head with that Pele kick, and now he's looking for the calf crusher. The calf crusher is locked in. Is Ricochet about to tap out right here? Just get caught in his face, making sure he doesn't give up. But no, Ricochet not the type of guy to give up that easily. Big boot. And look at this now. Ricochet is feeling himself in this one, looking to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Here we go. Ricochet with a double forearms. He dodges underneath, and the Pele kick of his own. And now here we go. Ricochet, no, a counter by Styles. A counter by Styles right there. And now AJ Styles, hang on a second, looking for it. You know what he's going for. The Styles clash to Ricochet. The Styles clash to Ricochet. And we're about to crown a new Intercontinental Champion. No. How the hell did Ricochet kick out of that? This man is bleeding like a crimson mask all over his face right now, like Austin at WrestleMania against Bret Hart. But Ricochet still has the heart to keep fighting. It's not about the size of the heart, but the size of the warrior within. And now AJ Styles with a counter right there. Ricochet landing on his feet. Great stuff right there. Oh, what a counter from Styles right there. Incredible counter with the Pele kick. We thought Ricochet was about to get the upper hand, but Styles again, the wily veteran, knows everything and then some in that professional wrestling ring. Now here we go, Enziguri, another counter by Ricochet, the boot taking down AJ Styles. Now here we go, another counter by AJ Styles though, another counter, ducks underneath, no, clothesline. AJ Styles is scrapping this one, but so is Ricochet. STO busting Styles wide open now. Ricochet perhaps wondering what the hell he has to do. What the hell does he have to do? And maybe this move right here is going to connect this time. He's looking for that 630 senton. Here we go, no risk and no high reward there from the Intercontinental Champion. And now AJ Styles with the Styles clash. Let's take a look at that one again. Beautiful picture perfect Styles clash, the second one of the matchup to the champion. And after that Styles clash, Ricochet has been rocked, and now Styles looking to go for the phenomenal forearm by AJ Styles. And now AJ Styles goes into the cover on the Intercontinental Champion, and Styles is your new Intercontinental Champion. What an unbelievable match, but Styles has done it again. Another title in the WWE, and he is now only one tag team championship away from being a Grand Slam champion. Unlucky Ricochet, but this time Styles proves once again that he is phenomenal. But man, you've got to feel for Ricochet after all the doubts, and now you're going to wonder where his mental state is at now that he is no longer the champion. And the show must go on, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes the Women's World Champion, the man, Becky Lynch. What a year it has been so far for the man Becky Lynch, of course, showing up on Monday Night Raw back in February to confront the Women's World Champion at the time, Kairi Sane, going on to have a banger of a match at Elimination Chamber, but Kairi would retain the title, and then we would go into the first ever Women's World main event at WrestleMania. Charlotte, Becky, and Kairi absolutely stealing the show, but in the end, Becky Lynch would walk away with that their title, and she has held it ever since that night. Now here tonight, she takes on an interesting opponent here on Monday Night Raw, Lana. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about Lana, honestly. She's an interesting one. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and say she's the Pete Ravelon of this Raw GM mode, but she kind of is. So if you watch the AEW GM mode, then you know what this means. Although one thing I will say about Lana is that I do rate her a bit more than Pete Ravelon. You know, she's not going to be a complete jabroni on Monday Night Raw, just a little bit of a jabroni, because honestly, there isn't really much Lana is good at. in anything really. But nevertheless, Becky against Lana here, first women's match of the new era. Here we go. I mean, one thing I will say about Lana is though she makes some pretty fire TikToks. I guess that's something. You know, she's not good at acting and not really that good at wrestling, and kind of annoying a lot of the time. But nevertheless, she's taking on Becky Lynch, and if she is to beat Becky Lynch here, she will be in line for a Women's World Championship opportunity, and that's going to be big for Lana. But now Becky off the top rope with the Hurricane Rana. And I mean, hey, this really isn't saying much, but Lana's like 1,000 times more attractive than Pete Ravalon, and look at that, a spear from Lana. Okay, alright Lana, big dog. Giggity goddamn, Lana's out here. Okay, she's about to win the Women's Championship possibly one of these days, but not if Becky has anything to say about it. Big jump and cut forearm. And now Becky Lynch here has Lana exactly where she wants her, and there's a nice neck breaker by the man who is rolling in this match. What is this? Well, I have no idea what the hell we just saw. Back to the scheduled in-ring action right here. Becky against Lana, and now Becky Lynch with a back exploder. What the hell did we just see on the Titantron? I just don't entirely know, but now Becky Lynch, look at this, got Lana down for the disarm her. It is locked in on Lana. Is Lana gonna tap? Yes, she is. Becky beats Lana on Raw. Well, I couldn't think of a better way to start off your new era, your new reign with the Women's World Champion here on Monday Night Raw than with a win over Lana that was dominant as ever from Becky Lynch, from the man who is just continuing her wave of momentum here in this calendar year. But interesting events right there in the Titantron. Who knows what the hell that means for the Women's World Champion, but I guess we'll find out. But right now, we say congratulations to the man who is on a roll. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event here on Monday Night Raw. The World's Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Drew McIntyre cashes in his rematch from WrestleMania. And speaking of which, here comes the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. This is the moment that Drew McIntyre has waited months for, ever since he was drafted to SmackDown Live and never got his World Heavyweight Championship rematch in the first place. He's been salivating at this opportunity to get his revenge on Tommaso Ciampa, and now it takes place here the night after SummerSlam, the night after Ciampa just defended the title against Seth Rollins last night at SummerSlam, and now McIntyre has a chance to shock the world, return to Raw, and take back what he believes is rightfully his. And now here comes McIntyre's opponent, the Blackheart, the World's Heavyweight Champion, as he clutches Goldie 2.0 ever so closely, Tommaso Ciampa. And that right there is what this one is all about, the World's Heavyweight Championship. We've already seen one title change tonight on Raw. Will we see another on the season premiere? And of course, the challenger, the Scottish psychopath from Ayr, Scotland, Drew McIntyre, looking to get back the title that he lost at WrestleMania. And of course, the only man in history to win Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and cash it in on the same night to become world champion, Tommaso Ciampa. Now, Ciampa looks at the World Heavyweight Championship, looks at Goldie 2.0, as Jessica Carr shows it to Drew McIntyre as well. That is what these two men are fighting for here tonight. But will it be the final time that Tommaso Ciampa can say he is the world champion in this reign? We're about to find out. McIntyre is ready, Ciampa is ready, the universe, the world is watching. Here we go. And now Drew McIntyre here, hang on a second, he's got Ciampa, and what a belly-to-belly throw, throwing the champion straight across the ring. McIntyre is playing no games here in the early going of this one. Hang on a second, McIntyre might be looking to put this one away earlier than we expected, going for that future shock DDT, but Ciampa using his strength powerbomb. Tommaso Ciampa, take nothing away from him. I mean, McIntyre may have a size advantage over Ciampa, but Ciampa is as crafty as they come. He will surprise you. Size is not a thing that matters when it comes to Tommaso Ciampa. He's as brutal as we've ever seen in the history of World Wrestling Entertainment, and you are going to see that on show throughout this season, and especially throughout this match with McIntyre, a man who he certainly has no love lost for. I'm going to take a belly-to-belly again by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre with that clubbering blow right there, but a counter by Tommaso Ciampa, those elbows straight to the head, and now Ciampa here, hang on a second, oh nice there, he hits the famous stuff from the back of the head, and Ciampa went for a jumping clothesline right there, but it was countered again, and he went for the drop kick there, and McIntyre countered, headbutt, caught him flush right there, again, McIntyre gonna go for this belly-to-belly throwing Ciampa, and now dragging Ciampa, the world champion, into the center of the ring. This is about to be it. Is McIntyre about to win back the World Heavyweight title? No, too early for that to be a possibility. quality, says Ciampa. Look at the strength of Drew McIntyre. He is playing no games right here. Sit out powerbomb, deadlift sit out powerbomb no less. And now look at McIntyre here. He has spent the last 3 months on SmackDown stewing about this moment, waiting, lying in wait for this opportunity, and he's not going to let it slip through his fingertips. No siree. Big clothesline. And now here we go. McIntyre with a knee. McIntyre has been dominating so far. This is shocking to see. The world champion has never been so dominated by anyone. Maybe McIntyre was right. Maybe he is about to win back the World Heavyweight Championship. But not if Ciampa has anything to say about it. But maybe Ciampa has no choice. Now Drew McIntyre, but wait a second. A counter by Tommaso Ciampa. Nicely done. And oh my god, he got caught with an elbow right there from the Scottish psychopath who is on a down roll right now. And now Drew McIntyre with those clobbering blows again. You've got to imagine it's only a matter of time before Drew puts this one away with that signature of his, the Claymore, or of course the Future Shock DDT. But hang on a second, another counter by Ciampa floating over right there. Nicely done by Tommaso Ciampa, but gets caught with a headbutt. And now Drew McIntyre picking up Tommaso Ciampa, looking for that headbutt right there, but it was countered by Ciampa. Big knee with the brace, and that may have been one of the clutchest moves of his World Championship reign, because here we go now. Ciampa with the fairy tale ending. Fairy tale ending by Tommaso Ciampa as he goes to the cover and he retains against Drew. No, he kicks out. There's a crimson mask on McIntyre's face, but he is still alive. And look at this now. Ciampa with a slip up, looking to put away McIntyre for good in this matchup right here. Here we go. No, another counter by Drew McIntyre. Another counter by Drew McIntyre. And now McIntyre going for a powerbomb, but no, a counter by Ciampa right there, getting out of it. And now Ciampa here, what are we about to see? Lifting him up and slamming him down with a body slam. And look at this now. Ciampa saying it is game over for you, Mr. Drew McIntyre. No more World Championship matches after this one, as he lifts up McIntyre, slamming him down. Maybe we are about to see it. Maybe Ciampa is about to prove that he is one of the best world champions in history if he can just deliver this right here. Fairy tale ending again. Fairy tale ending again as he goes to the cover and McIntyre is done for. No, a kick out again by McIntyre. How the hell is he still alive? Ciampa cannot believe it. The universe cannot believe it. But McIntyre believes that he belongs in the World Championship scene, and not just in the scene, but as its champion. But not if Ciampa has anything to say about it. Ciampa, the champion, and there it is. Big clothesline to take down McIntyre. The backbreaker clothesline combo sending McIntyre down to the ground. Very unique there from Ciampa. And what is Ciampa going to do? 2 fairy tale endings. What does he have to do to win this? Now here we go. No, another counter by McIntyre. Another counter by McIntyre. And hang on a second, Air Scotland, shout out Air Raid Siren. Oh my goodness me, McIntyre is counting here. 1, 2, 3, Claymore. A wicked Claymore, and surely McIntyre is closing in on once again become. Oh my god, what the hell? What the hell is he doing here? What the hell is Johnny Gargano doing here on Monday Night Raw? Damn it, this match has had to be thrown out due to a no contest. Ciampa has gotten out of here now, gotten out of the ring scot-free, and now left his dirty work to Johnny Gargano. And now we know that what Ciampa said earlier tonight about having no tricks up his sleeve was a damn lie. And now look at this. Oh, Gargano slamming McIntyre straight on the now reverse DDT on the concrete on the outside. Johnny Gargano has arrived here on Monday Night Raw, and now he's taunting McIntyre, who was just minutes away, seconds away from becoming world champion again. I cannot believe this. Look at Gargano taunting Drew McIntyre. This man from NXT, the Rebel Heart. Once upon a time, the Rebel Heart. I don't even know who this Johnny Gargano is. Being the hell out of McIntyre with the crowbar. And there's another super kick by Johnny Gargano. Still not even done with this ruthless onslaught on the former world champion, who was just seconds away after that Claymore kick from winning the world title from Ciampa. And Gargano knew it. He had to come in here to save his boy. And that is definitely the last time we take Tommaso Ciampa's word. That's for damn free. Nothing up my sleeve, my ass. Because now Gargano's here, and Gargano again, another super kick taking down McIntyre. And McIntyre, God bless him, he has heart. He's still trying to get up to his feet, but another super kick by Johnny Gargano. And Johnny Wrestling has arrived on Monday Night Raw. And look at this disgusting scene right here. A bloodied and bruised, beaten McIntyre as Ciampa and Gargano stand united over the former world champion. It looks by all indicators that DIY is back. Bye.